All right, everybody, welcome into the Pillow Talk edition of Pugs and Parker. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform, heard every Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time straight up. This is the second of two streams that I do every day. The first one, you can catch me at noon. That's called High Noon. Hi, Pugs Moran presents High Noon. What that show is topics, headlines, current events, all the things that you need to know about to move about your day feeling confident that you are a person in the know. It's a service that I provide to you every day, free of charge, unless you want to tip, because we do take gratuities on this show. You can do that by addressing any of the addresses down there at the bottom of the page. But that's not what this is about, because it's a Wednesday now. I thought it was Thursday. Holy shit! It just dawned on me that it's only Wednesday. James Parker is here. Look at Parker. Look at him.
Yeah, man, it's only Wednesday. I totally feel you on that one because this is a dragging ass week, and that sucks because we had Monday off. Why am I getting my ass kicked so bad?
Right?
On a short week.
I thought it was Thursday. I've had such an eventful week.
You had to say Skeeter and the inbreds.
My proximity to heroism. I have not been that close to real pure heroism. My kid with the busted up foot. Stuck in traffic today during an absolute torrential downpour coming in on 75 South. Then there was an accident in Richardson right at about Beltline that caused everything to... Oh, what a day. I really did. I thought it was Thursday. I only just now am realizing that it's Wednesday. That it's only Wednesday.
So what was the deal with the weather? We had like a 1 hour of bad weather and then it went away.
Yeah, that's all we had. We said like 1 hour, but it came down in buckets. It was just like buckets for 20 minutes, and everything flooded. What? I never seen it. James, I'm born and raised in what is essentially a basin and a river valley, and surrounded by rivers and hills and valleys, and they all meet at the basin of the Great Lake, Michigan. We don't have this kind of flooding. Is it because it's flat here? Is that why there's flooding? Is it simply because it's flat? Because I would think it being flat that it wouldn't flood, that it would more likely flood in places that have valleys and river basins and stuff. And we don't flood up there. Here, 20 minutes of a downpour. All the streets on Walnut Hill between 75 and the tollway flooded.
Yeah, so the interesting part about the Great Lakes is how far above sea level are the Great Lakes? They're not at sea level, are they? Aren't they elevated on their own? So, like when we talk about being, in the lowlands down here, we mean we're pretty much in the lowlands. Not Dallas itself, but Houston floods just about every time it rains. New Orleans floods just about every time it rains. Mobile, Alabama floods just about every time it rains. So maybe there's something about the topography of Chicago, because I don't really have a good explanation for that.
Well, I mean, but you're describing the Gulf locations. That's not Dallas.
Yeah, but you're in like the Tennessee River, kind of lowlands where everything sort of drains through. And just like why that makes it such a good, used to be navigable river is also a negative when it comes to a bunch of water coming out the sky. But don't y'all have like 3 rivers coming through Chicago hitting?
Yeah. Well, there's essentially what we have to the west is the Mississippi River, and then to the east is Lake Michigan, and everything in between. See both. Oh, okay. So you want to get into some cool stuff? Okay, this is probably not cool to anybody except
it's cool. Yeah.
Ancient stuff. So it's the Moraine Valley is what that area is known as, because the Moraine Glacier, which was one of the largest glaciers that covered North America, it's where it ended. And when it began to recede, over during the Ice Age, like when the glacier started to recede all the way back up, it left in its path the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River. And that's basically the cause of it. So everything in between the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River is just like dragged. It's like from where the glacier dragged. So there's hills and it's valleys, and there's other rivers. There's the Des Plaines River. There's the Illinois River, the Chicago River, there's the whole Fox River. Yeah, a whole bunch of rivers that all run from the Mississippi River into the Great Lakes. It's a mess, James. But That's interesting. You brought up the idea that it's above sea level. I didn't know that. I am not aware of that. I assume that we were all.
Well, look. Brady actually did more than either one of us did, and he looked into it. He said Parker just looked it up. Chi-town is like us, 597 feet. He means above sea level.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then Dallas and Chicago sounds like they should be equally likely to flood. Dallas just didn't plan itself as well.
No, it sounds like Chicago should flood more because of all the rivers that overflow
yes.
and the lakes.
So Chicago is doing something right, or Dallas is doing something wrong.
But it's got to be. I think we're thinking about it wrong. I think it's got to be because it's so flat. I think the flat.
The hell do we know?
Yeah, right. I don't know, but I would assume that the flood, because what we have flooding here, it's not like flooding from over. It's not like the Kankakee River, the Des Plaines River, the Chicago River are overflowing its banks and it's destroying towns. It's flooding from standing water. Like it just floods, and you know what I mean? It's just rain pours and it just gathers and it doesn't go anywhere. And it's just, before seriously, Walnut Hill, you were like calf deep in water within 10 minutes today. I'm driving through it.
Yeah, there's a couple weird places like that around White Rock Lake where if it rains for 5 minutes, you cannot drive your car through it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, it stopped raining and now it's good. James, how was your night, Ben?
It's been okay.
Did you hear the big did you go, wait a second, we may as well do this right if we're going to do it at all.
Oh, is this the Amber Heard thing?
Oh no! Well, we were gonna do that. We're gonna do that, but I thought maybe we just had.
Oh, there's football news.
There is football news. Why am I? This is the bad one. CBS. We decided CBS was the weakest one, right?
Well, then why did you play it? It's not like I hit the button. Yeah, the Fox one is tops.
All right.
I don't know this news. What is football news?
Dude, did you hear Marion Barber died?
Oh, I did hear Marion Barber died. Damn it. I wasn't thinking about, the tragic death of a former football player when you played the Fox. I thought it was something uplifting about to happen. Yeah, he was 38. It was a well visit to his apartment. The cops showed it, and we don't know anything other than there was a well visit, and let's not speculate on it. And do you really work for the city of Plano in the utility operation?
Oh, you noticed my new snazzy.
Did you do the well visit? Was that you? Because he was in Frisco.
This was in
right?
Frisco.
Okay.
Yes. But hold on, time out on our tribute to Marion the Barbarian. This, James, I'm so glad you noticed it. I love. Now, those of you who know me know that I have a collection of work shirts. I have a shirt from Goodyear, a Goodyear tire shop shirt that I acquired. I have my famous Dan Band shirt that I like to wear. I have another shirt from an Amoco station. It's Giuseppe's Amoco in Chicago that I just grabbed. That doesn't fit me anymore. That one and the Goodyear one doesn't fit me anymore. But today, when I dropped off my son up there in Plano, I went shopping for some food because I like this store that he's got up there by his house, a food store. So I was going to this food store. It's a Fiesta. I don't know. You ever been to a Fiesta? They have this pork that I like to get.
Yeah, the grocery store, of course.
Oh, it's fun. We ain't got none of them around here. And they
what?
I don't know. Where do I got to go around, the Highland Park area to find
you're in Texas. Just go 20 minutes in any direction. You know where a good one is? Is that Knox Henderson, like almost to Lower Greenville, at the bottom of Lower Greenville?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Over by Dell. There. You know where Dell lives?
I've met Dell like twice. I know where he lives. I don't know. I'm not keeping tab of your friends. Okay. Hey, Aaron's in the chat room. You know where Aaron lives?
Well, you've actually worked on projects with Dell, or
yes. Well, yeah, but he's come to the studios where I didn't hang out anyway. But we will move on. So Fiesta has this Mexican flavored pork, which I have, and it's thawing out right now because I can't wait to grill it because it's really good. So delicious.
What's the deal with the produce section at the Mexican grocery stores?
I don't know. I didn't go into it. Is it good or bad?
It's just different. And
I just bought 2 pounds of pork.
It makes me think for us, tropical fruits are exotic, papaya, a mango, even bananas, we can't grow bananas around here. But so if you're from the tropical
plantains,
Yeah, instead of bananas. If you're from the tropical part of the world, though, are deciduous fruits like exotic? Like, is the apple like, oh wow, that's an exotic fruit?
Don't you think apples just grow everywhere? I
No,
assume
they
they just
don't.
grow.
It's a deciduous tree. It doesn't grow in.
Deciduous. I don't
It
know.
means it doesn't grow in the tropical areas. It
Okay.
grows in the temperate areas, and then above us, only evergreens grow.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Sorry.
gonna say, our program director who we've created, he's an AI program director. He's screaming at us right now because we're
Because we are
chasing.
chasing rabbits all over the place. To go back to Fiesta, go.
So I go to the Fiesta store, I pick up a little pork shoulder, and I'm walking to the car, and I see that there's this I don't even know what it's called. It's like a resale shop, and it's got a big sign out front that says everything today $1, and I'm like, what? Everything $1? And it's a pretty big store, and I need a lamp for my outdoor little setup that I have in the summer. I need an outdoor lamp. So I went over there and I was thinking, oh, maybe if they got a lamp, I'll just buy a lamp. And they had this this wardrobe rack filled with like 100 of these plain. Apparently, they thought they were going to do some big hiring, and they never hired anybody. Never worn before. All these Plano work shirts, and I went, yeah, I'll grab one of those for $1. Why not?
$1? You got that for $1?
$1, and
I would have 10 of them for $10. Is what I would have. I would work for Plano at this point.
I mean, I actually thought about that. I'm like, well, maybe I should get a smaller one in case I lose weight. Maybe I should get a bigger one in case I gain weight. And then you know what I said to myself? Where the hell am I going to wear this that I need 3 for all occasions? What the hell? It's just a fun little work shirt for my work shirt collection. So,
No,
yeah.
you go buy 5
Plano
of them,
Plano
and then
George.
you and 4 of your friends show up, and you get yourself backstage at some concert because you're like, "Hey, we got to go check this stupid water meter," and they let you through.
Right.
Right.
All I need is a clipboard. That's it. Just a clipboard, and I can show up anywhere in Plano now.
I'll be carrying a toolbox, and then
Yeah.
we'll just go backstage at whatever festival's happening in Plano.
Everybody will just assume that I'm official. All right, resetting. All right.
Marion Barber. Damn it. Damn it.
Hold on.
So, do you know anything about Marion Barber's personal life? Because I just realized I don't. I just know he was a great running back, and I know he was good in interviews that I saw. Like he paid attention and gave real or attempted to give real answers. But did he get in trouble or something? Does he
Yeah.
have much of a storyline?
Yeah, he's got some sketchy things that happened recently. Okay, so Marion Barber, y'all know he was drafted. I don't know, what is he, like a third, fourth rounder from the Cowboys? I want to say somewhere
2003 or something.
2005. Yeah, somewhere. Well, here,
Is that where it was?
That's probably going to say. I just pull up the story, so it's probably going to say here. Cowboy says former running back he played his final year with the Bears, and oh my God, he made the biggest mistake in the game against the Broncos. I'm sure this is why he retired. He ran out of bounds when he should have stayed in bounds. The Bears were up a touchdown. The clock was winding down. They could have. And then that was the game that Tebow came off the bench and threw like a bomb for a touchdown. It was the one good thing Tebow ever did in the NFL. And it was because in 2011, Marion Barber, wearing a Chicago Bear uniform, accidentally ran out of bounds when he should have stayed in bounds and let the clock run. But whatever. I mean, I remember him from his years with the Cowboys. He was a very entertaining player. I don't remember him so much from his interviews and all that kind of stuff. I just remember the whole Marion the Barbarian thing where, man, he was a tough tackle for a time. You couldn't get him down too easily. That dude would run. Frisco, Texas, Dateline. Marion Barber III, the former Dallas Cowboy running back who scored plenty of touchdowns without recording a 1,000-yard season, has died, the team said Wednesday. He was 38 years old. Barber played a final season with Chicago in 2011 after spending his first 6 years with the Cowboys. He had issues with mental health after his career. Police in the Dallas suburb of Frisco said Wednesday they made a welfare check at an apartment believed to be leased by Barber and were investigating an unattended death there. The Cowboys, who have their headquarters in Frisco, said they were heartbroken by the tragic death of Marion Barber III. Marion was an old school. Every time I read a quote from the Cowboys organization, I always hear it in Jerry's voice. Don't you? Like any kind of official statement issued on Cowboy paperwork. I always think I read it in my head like Jerry Jones. Marion was an old school, hard-nosed football player who ran with the will to win every down. the team said. He had passion for the game and a love for his coaches and teammates. Barber's father, Marion Barber Jr., played 7 seasons with the New York Jets in the 80s. I remember his dad. The younger Barber is fourth on Dallas's career list for rushing touchdowns with 47 after getting passed in 2021 by two-time rushing champion.
Fourth, that's good.
That's real good for a guy that, never had a 1,000-yard season. He got passed by Zeke in 2021. Well, Zeke's on his way out. We'll talk about the running back position is the Bic lighter of NFL positions. See, they are disposable. You just get rid of them the minute they start to run low. Wait, you still got like 50 flicks on that. Nah, let the Atlanta Falcons get the last 50 flicks out of this. Let's see here. What else does it say about Marion the Barbarian? The former Minnesota player, a 4th-round draft pick by the Cowboys in 2005, had 24 touchdowns despite starting just 1 game those 2 seasons. Barber's career high was 14 touchdowns in 2006 when he rushed for just 654 yards. 3 years after his career ended, Barber was detained and taken to a hospital for a mental health evaluation. Police in Mansfield, another Dallas suburb, said it wasn't clear what led to the calls that prompted their response. Barber and his father both played for the Golden Gophers, and the younger Barber is second on the school's career list of 35 rushing touchdowns. Barber and Lawrence Maroney. Oh, wow, I remember those two. Yeah, that was an amazing running back tandem that the Gophers had that year. Barber and Lawrence Maroney, a 1st-round pick by the New England Patriots in 2006, were the first. I mean, Barber wasn't even the best running back on that team. Barber was a 4th-round pick, and Maroney was a 1st-round pick, and Barber had the better NFL career. They were the first pair of NCAA backs to produce 2,000-yard seasons in consecutive years on the same team. They did it in 2003 and 2004. Barber's younger brother, Dom Barber, and Thomas Barber also played for the Gophers. Dom Barber spent 4 years as a defensive back with the Houston Texans. There is one thing that I heard that isn't mentioned here. A couple of years ago, I want to say in Prosper, he was arrested by Prosper police for damaging cars. Apparently, he was out on runs and he was breaking car windows while he was out there. It's looking like he had some mental instability.
Okay. So is the thing that's on everyone's mind already, and in fact, Jeff said it, is this possibly CTE related?
Possibly. It could be suicide. Absolutely. He was found dead. There are no details about how he was found dead. Look, he ran like a maniac. He took a lot of hits. That was his thing. He was Marion the Barbarian. You squared up on him and he ran right through you. So, knowing what we know now about head trauma and CTE, he certainly does seem to be the kind of candidate, that would fall prey to these kinds of things. He, what was the other thing about him? It's interesting. 38 years old. So he played 7 years in the NFL. I mean, he had to have made at least $10 million, I would think, in those 7 years as an NFL player. I mean, he probably made the league minimum with the Bears because the Cowboys cut him and he played one final year. But, he played a lot. He probably met some bonus requirements.
He probably took home after taxes $5 million. Just
probably, yeah. So he's renting an apartment in Frisco at 38.
That's bad. That's a bad sign right there. You're renting an apartment in Frisco.
Frisco's nice. Look, you're not renting an apartment in Irving. Frisco is nice.
Right, but you're not renting an apartment in a renovated studio flat downtown. That's an apartment you would rent. You rent an apartment in Frisco. No, you buy a house in Frisco if you're a former Cowboy. But this means he doesn't have money.
Does it? I mean, it certainly doesn't seem like it. It seems like a guy Marion Barber was a name. He was a name. He's not one of these. We all know. I mean, look, I know half a dozen guys who played in the NFL who are not names. They're not. So if I hear at 38 that, they're living in an apartment doing whatever, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Because, although I don't know how that could happen. I mean, even if you're making the league minimum, you're making like $800,000 at 20 years old, right? I don't know how you not.
Well, back then, it's probably like 380,000 or 400.
Come on. That was
in 2005.
You were still. Maybe inflation has changed the way you see it, but back then,
remember, we looked it up.
It was a lot of money.
Dude, we looked it up when Tyson was hanging out in 2003. and it was like $380,000. That's the only reason I even came up with that number. It was like 300 something $1,000.
Still not
And
bad.
we're like, dude, you make the league minimum. He's like, no, I do better than that.
Yeah, no, he got drafted. He was a draft pick. So
Right.
draft picks don't make the league minimum. There's like mandatory scale for, what you got to pay draft picks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. Hey, what do you say? You want to do a little bit of a monologue? Why not? We do a monologue each and every day here
I
on the
do
show.
want to do a
James
little bit of a
prepares it,
monologue.
so we may as well be kind enough to allow him to perform his monologue here. Let's do it. I just clicked it, and now we've got to wait 3. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the comedy stage here, the Comfort Nest Comedy Lounge, high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. I don't know. He's played for the Crown Heads of Europe.
I have.
Yeah.
James Barber Parker.
For 10 years back in the 90s, he hosted the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon.
Yeah, with all them little kids limping around.
It was the local Jacksonville, Florida feed, but still, you were there. He's James Malcolm Parker.
Thank you. Oh, good crowd. Hey, did you see up in England, Kevin Spacey was charged with 4 counts of sexual assault against 3 men. His defense seems weak, though. He claims he was researching for a role in a movie in which he was playing himself.
Oh, look at that.
War historians are criticizing Top Gun Maverick for its blinding inaccuracies. Pugs, have you seen this new movie?
Loved it.
Okay, cool. For example, in a real fighter jet, Tom Cruise wouldn't be able to see over the dashboard. That's not accurate.
5'2". Did you know that? Tom Cruise is 5'2".
No, he's not. He's like 5'7" or something. Anyway, we'll look it up after the monologue. And Virginia's oldest person, Viola Roberts Lampkin Brown, has passed away at the age of 110. And look, and that's sad. She had her whole life ahead of her. It's a pity laugh. There's now a worldwide shortage of helium. Economists say this affects the price of balloons. How this affects the price of balloons depends on the rate of inflation. Today is National Heimlich Maneuver Day. That was bad. Today is National Heimlich Maneuver Day. The Heimlich Maneuver is a procedure to treat choking, but obviously it's too late for the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, fire off. Oh.
Too late, Luca. It was on this day in history, Pugs. 1868, former President James Buchanan passed away. Historians say Buchanan was probably our first gay president. So, all right, Pride Month and all that. Because he was a bachelor. He lived for 15 years with Alabama Senator Rufus King, and he owned 8 dozen pairs of shoes.
Rufus! What?
Yeah, Senator William Rufus King. They lived together. They were like boyfriends. Happy birthday to Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones. I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called Nappin' Jack Flash. Hey, you could have booed that one. That's all right. Yeah. Happy birthday also to Morgan Freeman, who turns 84 today. Unfortunately, plans for a documentary about his life had to be canceled because they couldn't find a good narrator. And finally, happy birthday to Alanis Morissette. Pugs, you want to guess? I don't want to say she's getting old, but she and the band got a new song coming out called You Ought to Know About This Walk-In Bathtub.
Morgan Freeman's birthday, James. All right, quickly. Let's know I can do a Morgan Freeman draft. How about this? You made a joke about his narration work. How about a draft of the best things that have ever, the best narrations in a movie ever? Okay? Because you're probably going to want to go with Morgan Freeman and Shawshank Redemption as the number 1 pick, right?
Yeah, and then you would probably go in the second one to Ray Liotta with Goodfellas.
That's exactly where I was going to see my first pick. Ray Liotta's narration of Goodfellas is number 1. Second pick, Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman. Third
All right.
pick.
Well, this is going to come way out of right field, but City of God. Did you ever see City of God?
No.
Oh man, it's about this guy narrates the story on how he won the Pulitzer Prize in journalism for a photo that he took when a drug kingpin was killed. But he has to take you back in time to the opposite side of the mountain in Rio de Janeiro in the 60s and then through the 70s and then the 80s. But he's narrating the whole time through it. I don't know. It's I know it's way out of right field, but
There you go.
dude,
All right, is that your pick?
well,
I got another good
Sam
one.
Elliott and the Big Lebowski, maybe.
Yes, that's a
Oh,
great
okay.
one. That is a great one. He introduces us to the dude. Yeah, absolutely, great one. Another one that I would go. Although this isn't a movie, yeah, I guess we're just doing narrations. Ron Howard in Arrested Development. Ron Howard.
Oh yeah. Good call, but I mean, does that count? Because it counts, even though it's not a
Well, I just
movie.
think the best use of narration. I
Right?
like that one.
What am I supposed to do?
How about Daniel Stern? Daniel Stern for The Wonder Years.
Oh, we're just going all TV now.
Well, no, I was just randomly. I didn't prepared for this. I was just thinking of the best narrations, of movies or TV, whatever.
Jeff Glenn says Steve Martin the jerk.
That doesn't resonate with me. Is that a thing?
Oh, look, I grew up a poor black sharecropper in Mississippi.
Okay, we'll give it to him. We'll give it to him. That's good. That's good. Yeah, but yes, I would say the big three: Morgan Freeman, Shawshank, Ray Liotta, Goodfellas, and Sam Elliott for Big Lebowski. Those are the top three picks. Those are good. All right. So we've got a couple of things happening. You got anything off the top of your head you want to jump in with?
Well, see, I had some technical issues. None of my other microphones are working, but Chaz Bono was here and wanted to do a tribute to the Depeche Mode guy. But we would have to switch seats because I don't have another microphone. So, I mean, if you want to do that, we can do that. If not, I can tell him to wait.
Well, tell you and Chaz should switch seats then. Do what you need to do.
Well, he says he wants to sing a song for Depeche Mode.
Okay. Andy Fletcher, founding member of Depeche Mode, died unexpectedly last week at the age of 60, I think. You may remember I did a Depeche Mode draft of my favorite Depeche Mode songs. Let me see if I can bring those up. Let's see, just while we're waiting for Chaz Bono to come in the studio. What was it? Oh, by the way, all weekend long, the long holiday weekend, I forced my... Look at him. It's Chaz Bono. Look at that. Chaz.
Hey, Pugs. This is Chaz Bono. I'm a manly man.
It is so good to finally meet you. When you were just a little girl and I was just a little boy and you used to come out on the Sonny and Cher show, of course, your parents' show, I used to look at you and I would say, Mommy, someday I'm going to marry that girl.
No, I didn't know you were gay, Pugs. I didn't know you want to marry a manly man, Pugs Moran.
Didn't work out that way for me. Chaz, are you a big Depeche Mode fan? Is that because, we had a debate when we were talking about Depeche Mode. Chaz, I was just saying how last week I did my Depeche Mode draft where I drafted my top 5 Depeche Mode songs. And we had a bit of a conversation about whether or not they were a gay band. And as it turns out, nobody in the band is gay. We just thought they all were, but it turns out they are not. Big Depeche Mode fan.
I am not actually a Depeche Mode fan at all. I'm just looking for a spare set of junk, Pugs.
Oh, still looking.
Yeah. I had the top surgery like 10 years ago, and no one's really handing out junk these days. So just hoping he was an organ donor trying to make my move.
Now, are you looking for full junk or just will you take parts? Like, will you take, some testicles from here, maybe a shaft from there, a head from another place?
Well, I used to insist that they all be from, the same source, but now, I'll take what I can get.
Okay. All right. Hey, are you interested in hearing my very quickly, my Depeche Mode draft order?
Nope.
Maybe you... No, you just want to do your songs, Chaz? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. In the first round, I took Personal Jesus. In the second round, Just Can't Get Enough. Third round, Enjoy the Silence. Fourth round, Strange Love. And in the fifth round, I took Policy of Truth. I also invited to camp as undrafted free agents. People Are People, Never Let You Down Again, and of course, Route 66. Chaz, the floor is yours. I've given you my favorite songs.
All right. So, what was the guy's name? Alex or something?
His name was
We got to look it up. Pugs, Alan, Alex.
Andy Fletcher.
Andy Fletcher. All right. This is a very heartfelt tribute to Andy Fletcher, whose name I didn't remember 2 minutes ago. From Depeche Mode. May he rest in peace.
Don't even know the guy's name. Wants his junk.
Of course I want his junk. They're not handing it out, Pugs. You had something to hide. You should have hidden it, shouldn't you? Now you're not satisfied with what you're being put through. It's just time to pay the price for not listening to advice and signing in your youth on the policy of truth.
Womp 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 womp. Womp womp womp.
Never again is what you swore the time before.
Oh, this beautiful Chaz.
Never again is what you swore the time before.
Womp 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 womp. Look at that. Chaz Bono looking for some junk. Doesn't care where it comes from. Tribute to the late, great Fletch.
Are you an organ donor, Pugs?
I am an organ donor, Chaz.
Because you're not really using your junk that much these days. Like, how much did you give me for it?
Oh, not for sale.
How much, Pugs? Every man has this price. I still got some of that share money left over. Some of that Sonny money was putting in an annuity. I'm getting some every month, Pugs.
Yeah,
we can work something out.
Trust fund. What about would that be weird? What about your dad? Did your dad, what was he, cremated? Why didn't you? Oh, maybe you didn't.
Oh, that was way before I had the surgery, Pugs. That's when I was still living a lie.
Timing
pretending like I wasn't a manly man.
Timing is everything, Chaz.
All right.
Hey, Chaz, anybody ever tell you look strikingly a lot like Haley Joel Osment these days?
All the time. I really get I get a lot of comparisons to The Rock and Chris Stapleton because they're manly men, and I kind of get compared to Terry Crews, like a white Terry Crews. I'm such a manly man.
Yeah,
and like Jason Momoa, people confuse me for Jason Momoa all the time. They're like, "Wait, is that Aquaman?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's just another manly man."
Yeah, you're pretty much just a grown-up Haley Joel Osment. That's what I see whenever
I disagree.
As a matter of fact, I can't even look at Haley Joel Osment without stopping myself now and going, "Wait, is that Chaz Bono?" Chaz, you got another song for us?
Does Haley Joel Osment have this manly beard?
Yes, in fact, he does.
Damn it!
In fact, he does.
Damn it! James wants his chair back. I better let him have it. I've got to go. I've got to go to a Golden Corral and clean him out. Yeah.
Look at that. There she goes. He goes.
Hey, damn it! I'm a man.
I'm sorry, Chaz. Chaz Bono. Best I can tell, he's been searching for dead people junk for a good 15 years now. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. I thought maybe he had a whole it's a he. I thought maybe he had a whole medley worked up, but that's okay. That's fine.
Man, what did you say? He was all pissed when he left.
I simply said that he resembles Haley Joel Osment these days.
Ooh,
sometimes. No. Why is that bad?
Dude, you gotta look at he's sensitive about the whole manly thing. You gotta compare him to someone, super manly. I don't know, like even half manly, like a Ted Danson or something, or Lou Ferrigno, or come on, dude, you can't be doing that to him.
A second. I would think that Haley Joel Osment would be a good. Here, let me show you.
Bro, you gotta think manly. Is Haley Joel Osment manly?
Well, sure.
No, come on.
He's an authentic man. He's I don't know, right? Doesn't he kind of look like Chaz Bono?
Oh my God, yeah, he does. He looks exactly like Chaz Bono. It's probably why it hurt his feelings. Damn it. He thinks he's Chris Jericho, though. He's so annoying.
Every time I see Haley Joel Osment, I go, wait, is that Chaz Bono?
Man, good point. I haven't seen him with the beard, but that's what did Haley Joel Osment have like a double mastectomy a couple years ago? That's what happened.
Just so we're not
that's
crazy.
Weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is weird. Here's Chaz. That's Haley Joel, Billy Joel Osment, and here's Chaz. There we go. Here's Chaz. I mean,
Indistinguishable.
they're very similar people.
Guy looks like me.
Yes. Yeah, well, that is something I did notice. There is a striking resemblance between you and Chaz. There is. Okay, so a couple of things we got going on here. We got we had another shooting today. Did you hear about this one? Did you see?
Can I roll another thing past you here?
Yeah, I wasn't going to go into it. I just wanted to mention it on my way to another thing. But go ahead.
Oh, mention it then. There was a scenario I heard, and I got to give credit to the guy I found it from. But it was really popular on Reddit, and then it got passed around on Twitter, and it was one of these sort of, like, y'all used to do the human growth and development segments, where this girl writes a sort of get it off your chest on Reddit, where she's trying to convince her boyfriend to stop digging.
Stop digging.
Yeah, like he's dug out. They have this other property, and he goes there, and he's in the side of the hill, like he's dug out some sort of tunnel.
What is she dating, a Labrador? Stop digging.
You want to see that? It's like a 2-minute setup. You want to hear the story because.
Yeah, but first I want to welcome Cheryl from Saskatchewan, who's in the chat room. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome aboard.
Saskatchewan. We have a Saskatchewan. Right on. Hello, Cheryl.
Mm-hmm.
Regina. Right on.
So hit me up with this. Let me see. So this.
All right, do the share screen and I'll play it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, well, this is from the Matt Walsh blog. He's usually political, but this isn't political at all. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm not sneaking anything on you. This is just an amazing scenario, okay?
And this is when I comb through the relationship forums on Reddit to impart my wisdom to the confused and helpless souls who are so desperate that they're actually stooping to soliciting advice from the Reddit community. Now, my advice may not be great from an objective standpoint, but it's better than anything that, they'll get from Reddit. So today, in that spirit, I'll be trying to help a young woman whose relationship quandary, as posted to Reddit, went viral this week. I'll be helping her, and I'll also be candling her, because that's what we do in this segment, nothing personal. I mean, usually it is pretty personal, but never mind that. A woman named Kate Whitaker on Twitter seems to be one of the first to have taken this post and amplified it, causing it to go viral. She tweeted a screenshot along with a caption revealing her bias. She says, "What on earth is going on with men?" Ironically, though, the man in question is not on Earth. He is under the earth, where all men wish to be. The Reddit post is titled, "How can I get my boyfriend to stop digging his tunnel?" Now, we see the problem already from the way she framed the situation. She says, how can I get him to stop? Rather than, should I get him to stop? Which is the real question you should be asking. She's assuming from the outset that she should stop her boyfriend from digging his tunnel. To her, it's self-evident that men should not dig tunnels, but to men, it's self-evident that we should, and we must.
Is it?
I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit.
Yes.
Here's her version of the story. Let's read it. She says, "So I know this is a weird question, but my boyfriend likes to spend a lot of his free time digging a tunnel on some property that he inherited. I haven't seen the full extent of it, but last I saw it was remarkably deep under the surface. He spent roughly a year on it, and it's evident. The front of the thing is deep, wide, well put together. At the front, which is the only part I've seen, he's got cement beams, electric lights, even chairs, and a small table. I haven't gone into it, but it looked like the quality severely dropped as the tunnel went further, mostly becoming open dirt with some wood beams holding it up."
You look at guys like
Elon
Musk
hang on.
and Jeff
How was that?
Bezos and
Hang on, it'll skip.
All right.
Now, pausing here for a moment. It is baffling to me that her boyfriend has been digging this awesome tunnel and she hasn't even gone into it. This is like if he had spent a year painting a masterpiece or chiseling a beautiful sculpture out of rock and you didn't even bother to look at it. What if you were in the Sistine Chapel with Michelangelo in the year 1512 and he told you that he just finished painting the ceiling and he's like, "I just finished painting that whole ceiling. It took me forever." And you're just like, "Oh, cool." And you didn't even bother to look up and check it out. This is shocking to me, especially when the thing in question is a badass tunnel. She continues,
Who is this guy and why is
"My
he
biggest
so
concern
needy?
is his safety.
What?
Who is this guy and why is he so needy?
Needy.
Yes. She doesn't even look at my tunnel. I got thoughts on this. Let's let this play.
really worried that he's going to dig too deep and it'll collapse on him or something. I've tried voicing this concern to him, but he just laughs it off and assures me that he'll be fine. Aside from safety concerns, there's also the fact that he doesn't really have a social life because of this thing. I'm pretty much the only person he still talks to outside of his job, and he doesn't go out and do anything anymore. It used to be that he'd occasionally head out and do some digging on the weekends, but now he spends almost all of his free time out there. He still comes home, but he barely spends any time with me. And I know that he isn't doing anything but digging that damn hole in the ground. This can't be good for his mental health, but I don't know how to convince him to stop. He's always really happy when he comes back from digging, which is why I haven't seriously tried to stop him before. But I was talking to a friend about him, and she told me he might be going crazy. Obviously, I don't think he's insane, but I hadn't considered the mental health aspect of this, and I just don't know what to do.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So first of all, he comes home happy, so it is good for his mental health. Okay, so it's weird. It's not my thing, but I didn't inherit property. It's obvious to me he's building a murder room. He's doing something with this tunnel that he probably doesn't want people to know about. She hasn't been there because I have to guess that he hasn't invited her to come admire his work because it's his thing. But what is, first of all, this woman? I mean, I understand her going, this is weird, but he's got a hobby. Dude can't have a hobby. He comes home happy. Why is she bothered by it? I don't understand what the problem is. He's digging a tunnel. Unless it's one of those deals where she's like, what are you digging the tunnel for? Don't you mention my tunnel! Unless it's one of those weird, I don't know. Is that what's going on?
It doesn't sound like that, but we don't know. And we
Is he
can
willing
just
to talk about the tunnel? I mean, maybe if she just engaged him with some curiosity, he might go, yeah, so here's what I'm doing.
I think he's talked about the tunnel, and she, just from her context clues, he can tell she's not interested in the tunnel.
Yeah. Women, there are a lot of things that, dude, I really like right now, if I had a girlfriend, which I don't, but let's go back a couple, like right now, I'm really into Formula One. I would talk about Formula One incessantly and they wouldn't care. And they'd be like, I really don't care what McLaren is doing with their DRS systems. Well, but see, there was a problem because it wasn't an opening in the DRS zone. So they had to redesign the whole. So, I get that. But, I used to be into MMA. And there was a time in this country when MMA was on TV every night. And I would just sit there watching MMA and I would try and get the woman I was with to be, engaged with. And they didn't care. Women don't. Shouldn't this woman be happy? Like, all I can do is channel Kelly. If Kelly was here, she'd be like, go dig your tunnel. Good. Just go out there.
Yeah, she wishes Jeff had a tunnel, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Go dig a damn tunnel.
So here's what I think is going on. I think this woman is just a controlling woman. I think she just wants him to stop digging the tunnel and massage her feet at night. I think he's going crazy, but he comes home happy. Okay, it makes him happy. I don't know what's going on. I do. I think he's killing prostitutes down there. I think he's looking for a place to build a torture room. And, that's a whole other problem. But she doesn't seem to be any wise to that, right? She doesn't seem to be onto that aspect of what he's doing. She just doesn't like that he's doing something. She doesn't like, this happens a lot with women. And I am not a He-Man woman hater. That's not my whole bag. But I will tell you, there are some women, not all of you. Some of you are wonderful specimens. There are some women out there who, whenever their man finds something that makes them happy, they go to great lengths to either drag them down from it or somehow make it seem stupid. And that sounds what this is going on here. Dude wants to build a tunnel. Dude is happy building tunnel. That makes her upset.
So I see this video and I hear this scenario and I'm sort of disappointed in myself that I don't have a tunnel. Like I want a tunnel.
I don't want to dig. That's not my thing.
I would like to have the finished product. I don't know if I necessarily want to dig all out myself, but there could be some sort of pride of accomplishment if you are the guy that digs your own tunnel. And my parents have some property out in the middle of nowhere where there's a hill that just kind of slopes off into the woods, and I could start a good tunnel, right? I even have a scenario where a tunnel.
What purpose? That's the thing. What are you building a tunnel for? You just gonna dig a hole and sit in it? Are you just gonna sit in it and go, now I have my place?
Well, look, it's like
it's kind of odd, right?
Did you ever play Minecraft? Or you're too old for Minecraft, right? Luckily, I'm immature enough that I know what Minecraft is, but you have two options. You can either build a house or you can build a palace or a playroom or a building of some sort, a habitat, or you could just dig it out. And you have this, the de facto the same sort of setup where you have this giant living space, but you didn't build anything. You just dug the dirt out. And then, in real life, you'd have to support it with beams and whatnot. But I don't know.
Okay, that's totally different. You go to work every day, you come home from work, and then what? You grab a shovel from the garage and you go out to that weird property your uncle left you and you start working with labor again? Minecraft is a video game. That's totally different. That I
Well,
could probably get into.
it's definitely
Like,
more labor to build a real tunnel, but
yeah. Wait, so what do you
no,
want to build a real
I can see the allure of a tunnel.
again, and I say, what is the allure of the tunnel? Because you still haven't sold me. All I see is a lot of hard work. Unless you're telling me you're building a murder room, you're building, in that case, then
Okay, okay. Listen. You're not even thinking like fourth dimensionally about this. If you had a tunnel, what would you do with it? First off, we would clear out some room, we get some electricity, and get some good air going in there,
I
and
don't want
then
a tunnel. I wouldn't do anything with it because I don't want
shut
a tunnel.
up. You're not even thinking about where's your manhood, because right now I would stick a
Oh,
bar on that end. I would
oh,
stick a pool table in the middle. There would be a ping pong table over there. There would be a giant screen TV where we could watch the Cowboys beat the Bears.
you got a
And
garage? You can't do that in a tunnel.
no, not a garage. It's similar to a garage, but look. There's no way you can get a car in there.
From what I
But I
understand,
would like
this is
a
off property. This
bro.
guy's getting in his car. He's got to drive somewhere. He ain't hiring electricians and plumbers. What's he doing? Pooping in a bucket?
She already
I don't
said.
want a tunnel.
She already said. She already said he's got electricity and everything in there. So where did the term man cave come from? It's because cave is the actual archetype of what we're all aiming for with our urban attempt of a man cave. This is the real deal. This is a real
guy
deal.
a contractor? Is this something he's good at? Like is it because me? I can't build a tunnel. The walls are going to cave in. We'll sit in there. We'll have a couple of beers, and suddenly we'll look at the walls, and they'll start to be, the dirt will be falling in, and then pretty soon the fire department will be out there trying to excavate us from the tunnel that I built for no apparent reason.
That is the one drawback, is sort of the safety concern. But other than that, if it was properly built and secured, rest assured, you would love to have a tunnel.
I would not. I can tell you without any reservation that I have no interest in a tunnel. I will say this, though. When I was a kid, I was a bit of a tunnel rat. We used to make tunnels out of snowdrifts. So we would, when the snow would be like 3 feet on the ground, we would tunnel through the lawn. So we'd have these tunnel systems like human habit trails that would go and they'd come out on the sidewalk and then you'd run around to the other side and you'd get in. And it was fun, but I was 8. I mean, I don't want to do that. And it was snow. Snow is easy.
What are you from, like the ice moon of Hoth? Like
the Midwest. Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of snow.
Never seen that much snow.
We build things with snow. Sand castles, snow castles are our thing. They're giant.
So somewhere deep down in your instincts, the tunnel urge.
I was 8 and we didn't have the internet then. I was just looking.
You're right. When you were more innocent and honest and, true to yourself, apparently.
Is that
you wouldn't? If I was giving out tunnels, you wouldn't take one?
Why is the guy reading the thing hate women so much? It's like I got that vibe right away that he was like one of these women hater guys.
Yeah, because he's tired of harpies busting up man's chops for being men.
Yeah, well, some do, some don't. Okay.
Look, we're not supposed. Look, we're not supposed to understand each other. I don't expect women to understand my need to have a tunnel, and
I don't understand your need to have a tunnel.
Yeah, I can't understand their need to go to Kendra Scott ever. Have you ever been to Kendra Scott? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Do you even know what Kendra Scott is?
I do not.
Jesus Christ, I keep getting forced to go to this damn store. It's a jewelry store. But there's this one like stylist or artist or jeweler or whatever. Her name is Kendra Scott, and she has this line of jewelry, and these chicks love it. And so I end up at Kendra Scott whenever it's like the week before Valentine's Day, and they just have a line out the door of basic dudes like me whose wife/girlfriend have told them, you know what I want for Valentine's? I want a Kendra Scott teardrop necklace. And I don't know how they all get on the same wavelength and same vibe, but all these ladies want this exact same line of jewelry. And so these dudes are lined up. There's like 13 of us in line, and they're just processing us out. And it's, like $200 for a necklace or whatever.
Oh, it's expensive stuff, or is it just kind of
no, it's not. It's not even especially expensive,
not like
but
Tiffany or Coach or one of those.
No. It's not nearly that bad. It's affordable for middle class people to be giving each other as gifts, guys that are trying to keep their chicks happy. And
I
so
used to have one of those places in my life, but it was called Lululemon. I'd never heard of a Lululemon, and then all of a sudden I was at a Lululemon every Saturday. Every Saturday
yeah,
we gotta go to a different
getting
mall because
see-through pants. All
I
right.
don't know.
No, so Kendra Scott's weird because one time I actually went, recently, I went with my niece who wanted a Kendra Scott thing, and you get a birthday discount, and it was my birthday last month. So we went, and every other time I've been to Kendra Scott, it was around gift buying time. So either Christmas or Valentine's. And when I went this time, there was no dudes in there. So I got to see the Kendra Scott store in its natural habitat, and I didn't understand anything what was going on. I have no idea. Like, why do y'all have a cactus in the corner? Y'all are selling jewelry. Like, why do y'all have all this dead space in your store? Like, in a retail store, you're supposed to pack product like everywhere. There's supposed to be all kinds of eye-catching things, and you're supposed to have so much product that the pickiest person could find what they want. They're only selling like 8 things in the whole damn store, right? So the rest of it is just filled with like these little kind of art deco installations, and then they're playing like the strangest songs, like what was in there? Oh, Paula Abdul. And I'm looking at my niece who's like in high school, and I'm like, do
Please
you
tell
even?
me it's the one with MC Scat Cat.
No, that's opposites attract. I think they were playing Straight Up Now Tell Me. And I'm like, do you even know who Paula Abdul is? She goes, who's Paula Abdul? I'm like,
jeez.
and so then my sister's like scolded me. She's like, how would she know who Paula Abdul is? She wasn't even born when that song came out. I'm like, yeah, but she was popping pills on American Idol for like a decade or something there. She doesn't know her from that.
So okay, so you bring up an interesting line of conversation here. We're a couple of guys. There are all of these stores that exist that we see them, right? But we don't know what that would actually be a fun game. Just ask dudes, like get a list of stores to cater
The
to
hell is this store?
yeah,
Right.
what does this store sell? But like, do you know like what an Ulta is or a Sephora?
Yeah, the makeup places.
Is that are those makeup places? How about
Both
like
of them.
what's inside? What's inside? I see these all the time. What's inside a Sally Beauty? Have you ever seen those? I've never been in one. They're huge. They are massive.
I've been in because I used to dye my hair like blue and stuff, and so that was a good place.
Mr. Tunnel guy had to go get hair dye for his hair.
I'm a complex man, Pugs.
Is that what a Sally Beauty is? They're the size of Walmarts. I always see them.
Some of them are. Some of them are. I mean, not the size of Walmart, but some of them are pretty big. Most of
Yeah.
them are not that big.
How about let's see, what's another? Do guys have anything? Do we have anything that women don't know? Any women in the chat room? Are there any stores that you see in the mall that you're like, what's that? Maybe lids.
Yeah, right. Johnson and Murphy. See, the interesting one was Zara. Do you know Zara? Like Xara?
No.
So I was doing that financial show for about a decade, and like the 6th richest guy in the world for a minute there was the dude who started Zara, which is a fella from Spain, and it was a retail store. And I was like, wait a second, don't they have one of those in Lakeside Mall when I was living in New Orleans? And so the next time I went through Lakeside Mall, I saw a Zara, but it was all women's clothes, but there was an escalator on the side. I go up, I didn't even know there was a second floor. I go up to the second floor, and it's all dudes' clothes. And I'm like, I like these clothes. Like, I didn't even know this was an option for me. And yeah, Zara has like men's clothes. Like when you go to like bars and guys look like they've actually put 5 minutes of thought into their appearance, unlike us who show
Or
up
they have
in
a girlfriend who puts 5 minutes of thought into their appearance.
probably a big player in that. But I mean, you're the guy in the city of playing a $1 shirt. So I mean, that puts us, where we stand on the whole high fashion thing.
Hey, that's one of my rules. I only date girls whose fashion sense I really appreciate, who seem to have some kind of like girls. There are some girls out there who just they just wear what they see in magazines, but then there are other girls who have like flair. I'm attracted to the girls who have like a unique flair because inevitably they always buy me the coolest shit. They always
and
got
that helps.
Clothes.
And then I wear the cool shit, and then people think like I am responsible for that, and I get credit I don't deserve for being fashionable.
So your Zara experience, I had that exact same, I mean, word for word, I had the exact same experience with a store called H&M. You know that H&M store? I thought
that's a great one, right?
I thought that was just for girls. And then one time I was there with a girl, and I'm like, they got guy stuff here. Look at this. I was dating a girl here in Texas, and we went to Chicago for a weekend, and she goes, oh, they've got this was back before I guess H&M were in every mall. She goes, "Oh, there's an H&M on Michigan Avenue. I've got to go to that." I'm like, "Okay, apparently this is a big deal. I'm gonna be sitting in the dude chair, thinking that it's like a chick store." And I'm like, "Oh, they got dude stuff." And then I've taken my kids school shopping at H&M. They got kid stuff.
Hey,
dude
give
stuff.
me. Can I just real quick get your takeaways from the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing?
James.
We exhausted our wad on that, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't care. This is exactly what I expected. Although I'm seeing some headlines that say they both won, but they didn't both win.
No, they didn't.
Johnny won.
Depp, yeah.
Johnny's claiming this is a complete victory, and Amber Heard is putting out Instagrams talking about how this set women back, and this is, as a woman, she can't believe that now other women will be afraid to come forward. And I'm like, bitch, no, you set women back. This ain't about this judgment. This judgment is fair. This judgment is exactly what it should be. You tried to capitalize. You tried to surf that Me Too wave by conjuring up some line of bullshit about some guy that everybody liked. And guess what? It imploded in your face. And she also said, here's the other thing that bugged me about it. She said in her Instagram post, "I won. I was vindicated in London." Remember, because there was the case in London where she won, where the royal court or whatever sided, on the side of her when she did the same thing with the Sun, the London Sun or whatever.
Okay.
Like, bitch, you didn't win. She thinks she won in London. She didn't win in London. The Sun newspaper won in London. The Sun newspaper was being sued for slander, and they defended themselves. The difference is, in this case, she was directly being sued by Johnny Depp in an American court because of the Washington Post piece. When Johnny sued before in England, he was suing the Sun for what she wrote. He wasn't suing her. And then it was when the court sided with the Sun based on, I don't know, some crazy Crown First Amendment. They don't have a First Amendment, but you know what I mean? Some free speech, freedom of the press ruling over there. That's when he said, "Oh, okay. All right, we'll take this to an American court, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm not suing the Washington Post. I'm suing you." And he came after her. So she's like wrapping herself in all of this really dubious bullshit that she's trying to put out there. Like this is an attack on women, or how can the American courts get it wrong when she won in England? And again, you didn't win it. You were not being sued in England. It was the Sun that defended themselves.
Okay, so admittedly, this affects nobody, not me, not you, not any of the commenters, not the other people, the guy watching right now. This doesn't affect it doesn't matter. But my takeaways from this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now are going to be Amber Heard duded in a bed and Amber Heard sniff coke on the stand in a courtroom. And that's all I'm going to remember from this.
Yeah.
That's my takeaways. It really is that shallow.
Here. Okay. So along those same, I won't necessarily remember the drug doings because I just assumed that those two were doing drugs all the time.
Oh, he had a jar of coke. You know how expensive it is to have a jar of coke?
Really?
Like people like spend like hundreds of dollars for like a little baggie, but you have like a mason jar. Like
that's got bad. Does it spoil, or is that good? You got to put it in the fridge.
I don't think anyone ever knows. I don't think it sits around long enough for us to find out.
So my takeaways will be, of course, Amber turd in the bed. That's going to always be a thing now. She will never live that down.
I know. You shit one bed, and then all of a sudden.
She's like the little boy in the 5th grade who poops his pants in gym class. He never lives. He carries that through high school graduation.
No. The saying around here is you F one goat, Pugs. Yeah, one goat.
One goat that stays with you. All right, so it's going to be the poop in the bed. And it's also going to be that the people, the regular people that exist in the Depp Heard orbit when they were a couple, the drivers, the desk clerks, the assistants, all of those people thought she was an insufferable bitch and that Johnny was cool. Those are the takeaways. I remember what the working man thinks. The way you treat the working man and the way they come away after meeting you is what I'll remember. And I will remember that Amber Heard is a bitch who poops in beds, and that Johnny Depp was cool to the front desk guy in the building where he owned 5 penthouses. That guy loves Johnny.
Doesn't she get some sort of like kind of credit for getting away with sniffing coke on the stand in court? Like, what kind of gangster move is that? Like, what kind of bold?
I don't know that she did, but yeah, it certainly does
look like it.
It does. Yeah. It looks like something. What she gets credit for is she's beautiful. It doesn't matter how great, I still think she's
Definitely.
so beautiful. I'm
Definitely.
like, man, Amber Heard is a fine looking woman. She is really a good looking woman. All right, we're out of time. Aaron Sockwell said that I missed George Carlin's America review already. James, have you seen George Carlin, the HBO, the Judd Apatow 4-hour HBO documentary on the life of George Carlin? Have you seen that yet?
No, but along that lines, I did just watch the new Ricky Gervais special, Supernature.
Is it great?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Good. Yeah,
It's
so
good.
I can't love him. I know he's taking heat for him. Oh,
You'll love it because, dude, your politics and his politics, that Venn diagram is almost a perfect overlap from what I've noticed. You
Great
must
minds,
love
they
that dude. Yeah.
Well, I don't necessarily really even know his politics. I just think he's a genius television writer. He's a genius TV creator. That guy is so prolific. And he's really funny. And I love his style of comedy where he doesn't have any fucks to give. He just doesn't. He's just up there and he's like, you people paid to see me.
Well, and a lot of people try and do that, and he does it better than most.
He does it great. Have you ever seen the show Extras? I mean, everybody
Yes.
Extras
is amazing. Afterlife is amazing. The original Office is amazing. Just
You know,
based on that.
I still haven't seen Afterlife. It's like I'm saving that for a broken leg, for a
Oh,
time when I'm gonna
no.
yeah, no, I know it's great. Everybody
Oh,
says
bro. Dude, it's a comedy that will make you cry multiple times.
So getting back
You will freaking cry watching that show.
getting back to my guy Aaron, George Carlin's America on HBO is great. It's long though. I tried. I thought I would be able to do all 4 hours in one sitting on a Saturday night, but I couldn't. I had to break it up. It actually took me 3 days to watch the whole thing, but it is really, really interesting. It is really. I thought that I knew everything there was to know about George Carlin, and then I watched this. And I'm friends with his daughter on Twitter, Kelly Carlin. I've been friends with her on Twitter for years. She's really funny. Well, she's interesting on Twitter, and we follow each other. We're tight, and she's all over it, and she's really good in it. And I had, like, for instance, here's something that I did not know about George Carlin.
You saw all 4 hours of this?
Yeah. I
Okay.
didn't know that George Carlin was a loyal husband and father for like 50 years. Like, I just assumed that he had a bunch of divorces and that there were women coming and going. The entire length and breadth of his career, he was with the same woman. And they had a little daughter. And
It's funny how shocking that is, isn't it?
Well, it is when you consider that his most, closely tied contemporary is Richard Pryor, who had absolutely a different kind of life as far as, his George Carlin was a wild man. He was, a drug addict, and he was always in trouble with the law and all this. You didn't think that he had this stable, loving relationship that you never heard about his wife. Maybe you did, but it wasn't
I
like,
didn't. I know nothing about her.
yeah, he didn't talk about his wife or kids in his comedy or anything like that. And the ebb and flows of his career, I mean, from the way he started as a super square late 1950s, 1960s, stand up
The
with
black and white George Carlin, he's one of
Yeah.
the cool guys that shifted as soon as the color turned on.
Well, he made a conscious decision that, he started writing material that, didn't work for being on the Ed Sullivan Show and all that kind of stuff. And he was a very popular comedian. He was
Do I have to watch this?
Yeah, you do. He was making all kinds of money, and he just said, you know what? He goes, he went and he told his managers and he told his agents, he said, look, I'm going to grow a beard. I'm growing my hair long. I'm going to start wearing blue jeans and tie dye, and I'm completely changing my act. And they were like, what? You can't do that. You can't suddenly become a completely different person on stage. And then he had and then he did a different kind of comedy through the 70s and through the 80s. And then in the 90s, as an old man, that's when he became a social critic. That's when his comedy, he was doing A Place for My Stuff in the 7 Dirty Words. Those were the things that he was doing in the 70s and 80s. But it was the 90s when he reinvented himself again as this critic of the world, where people went, whoa. I mean, there are 3 very well-defined different eras of George Carlin and what he was doing. And he was the best in the world at all 3.
Stop. You're making it sound so good. Now I want to go watch it.
It is. It's very good. It's very good. And I have a wild new appreciation for him that I'd never really seen. I had never really given him credit for the hard right turns that he had made in his career at 3 different key junctures.
Can you allow me one last plug here?
Yeah, everything. Go ahead.
All right. So I've got a podcast going now based around a segment I've been doing on Walter's show called Florida Stories. And so I've been doing this for almost 4 years now. And so I retooled and remixed all the old segments. And I have 100 episodes out there now. It's just called Florida Stories. It's wherever you listen to podcasts. So Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, damn near everywhere. Tune in, whatever the hell else.
And it's just called Florida Stories?
It's called Florida Stories. Right. And there's a logo of Florida. It says Florida Stories. It's got my big fat head on it.
Does he have some kind of exclusivity, or could we listen to some of them on the show?
Oh, no. I have all the exclusivity. I own that shit. So I have 100 episodes if you want to listen to it. Check out Florida Stories, wherever you're already listening to podcasts.
Well, yeah, maybe at some point we can listen, like tomorrow. We could listen to a couple, and then people, if they want to hear the rest, they can go find it.
I was thinking a recurring bit we needed to do like once a week is bits we did 20 years ago and grade whether or not we could do them now.
Oh, Kelly and I were just talking about that the other day, that there was something that we did. What did we do? Oh, what was it? She brought it up and we couldn't do that now. I don't remember what it was. It was something.
We did honky talk.
Oh yeah. No, it was when we were talking about,
we did an SAT quiz. Like I took a SAT prep test and we did a trivia off of it, but the teams were called Fag and Breeder, and so we can't do that now. Yeah. We said the word FAG like 100 times in 20 minutes.
Hey, speaking of that, let me pause this right now because I had I've got all of, not all of them, but a bunch of our old tapes, and she yesterday mentioned something, or I think maybe I mentioned it when the 3 of us were talking about how we once had a long conversation about how there were no black guys named Brian. And we were like, yeah, how come there are no Brian? And it became, well, what about Brian Gumble? And we're like, no, that's Bryant. That doesn't count. That's not Brian Gumble. Do you remember? I found a bit a while back that was so funny that we did. And I don't know if you were around for this, but do you remember when Kelly was lost in Plano and she was in an office building and her kids wanted fried chicken and she didn't know where she was, and she was looking for a good place to get fried chicken, obviously before Yelp. Obviously, this is like 2004. So she went up to a person, just a random person, and asked them if they knew where she could get good fried chicken. And it was a black person, and she was appalled. Kelly freaked out in mid-sentence. She's like, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to find, you know where there's good fried chicken? And she realized what she was saying to this.
Damn it.
He was like, oh no, I don't mean, that was a funny bit. Anyway, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we did back then. People are too sensitive now. None of it came from hate, James. It all came from a place of love, a place of acceptance.
No, I do hate people that use the papyrus font though, so stop it.
What's that?
It's the most horrible, overused, misused, lazy, crappiest font, and I'm tired of seeing it.
All right, good times. Good times. Bye, James. Wait, let me go look over here. And now he's go. Oh, I caught him. There he goes. I am on a never-ending quest. All right, thank you, guys. The best is yet to come. Oh, I didn't get to tell my story about my microwave pork chop. Put a pin in that one. I've got a story. Somebody tried to cook. Somebody saw a YouTube video and thought, all right, I'm going to try that. And somebody may have cooked a pork chop from a raw pork chop in the microwave just to see what would happen. I can smile. Somebody may have even eaten it. Now, things are going good. And now, because I ate it like 5 hours ago, I'm like, am I getting sick? Is that right? Anyway. So yeah, long story short, I ate a raw pork chop that I cooked in the microwave today. Not because I was hungry. Well, I was hungry, but because I didn't want to grill. Too lazy to grill. Never-ending quest. All right, Brady, Jeff. Aaron, Mason and I were just talking about you. We were literally just talking about you yesterday. Aaron's probably not there anymore. We have to see you. I mean, we don't have to, so we want to see you. That's basically the point of it. So, oh no, I'm not done. So we must jet ski. Mason asked. He's like, how come we don't see them? I go, there is no reason. There is no reason why we don't see them. And he goes, well, maybe we could go jet skiing again. We were going to do that. I go, we never went jet skiing with them. We were supposed to. So, summer, we have to do that. Let's work on that in like the next week, 2 weeks, whatever. It'll be 2 weeks because he's going to Arkansas on vacation. All right, folks, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow at noon for High Noon, so we can do headlines and trends and current events and all of that good stuff. Yeah, tomorrow at noon. That's it. Sorry, I'm being distracted because the dog is into something in the other room. It's not even my dog. You guys know this. Okay, she needs to go outside. Tip the show if you can. The show runs on your gratuities. Treat me like a bartender. It is the end of the month. I got 2 more days before I have to pay my bills. We didn't make it this month, so anything you can do. Doesn't matter. And not you, though, Aaron. No, that's not... Your shit would get sent right back for obvious reasons. All right, that's it. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. High noon. Yeah, Jeff, there are a shit ton of microwave pork chop videos on YouTube. Some good, some bad. Like I said, put a pin in it.